We have some serious news this afternoon. ICE is ramping up its program targeting undocumented immigrants in the United States of America and may soon be hiring bounty hunters, private contractors, private companies, offering them major incentives in the form of tens of thousands of dollars in performance bonuses to capture as many undocumented immigrants as possible. As the Trump administration is rapidly using the funds from the budget bill passed earlier this year to expand immigration enforcement in the United States of America. New documents reviewed by The Intercept shows that ICE is actively working to contract outside contractors, outside vendors that are essentially these private companies that are bounty hunters and will give them quotas of 10,000, 20,000, sometimes a million names of individuals living in the United States of America that need to be captured. And if they do a good job, they may be eligible for performance bonuses. It comes as ICE is under significant heat over the past 24 hours as we learn that ICE agents are now wearing masks, Halloween masks, like from Chucky, Momo masks, other horror themed masks, while conducting immigration raids in communities in Los Angeles and likely across the country. When asked about whether or not this reporting is accurate, ICE simply said, "Happy Halloween." Let that sink in for a second. In communities where kids were trick or treating, ICE agents were wearing Halloween masks, horror themed masks of famous horror characters like Chucky and Momo, and conducting ICE raids and arrests throughout the city of Los Angeles. And remember, when Governor J.B. Pritzker in Illinois said, "Hey, Kristi Noem, give us a break for a weekend. You guys were launching tear gas canisters into communities where kids are trick or treating," she said, "Absolutely not." And now we're seeing ICE wear Halloween costumes, likely in an effort to scar communities even more. And at the same time, ICE ramp up its attempt to outsource work from bounty hunters to go after undocumented immigrants. Now, The Intercept has confirmed that this contractor relationship, this plan is not in effect just yet. It's going to take some time. But why do you think ICE has the money to do something like this? The answer is simple. The budget bill passed earlier this year granted ICE billions of dollars in new funding that will allow ICE to not just increase its internal quota in terms of the number of agents it hires, but also allow it to become increasingly militarized, purchase surveillance equipment, which it has already purchased additional military equipment, and now bring in these outside vendors to essentially do its dirty work. Now, here's the thing: ICE cannot reach its quota internally right now. Remember, the individuals applying to join ICE right now are, quote, physically allergic or athletically allergic, as they are calling them, because they can't pass a basic fitness test of 15 push ups, 32 sit ups, and running a mile and a half in under 14 minutes. And so they're being forced to potentially outsource a lot of the work that ICE needs done to these bounty hunter type companies. And it's very nerve wracking for a lot of communities across the country. This is a story that the media needs to be talking about. I'm not going to stop talking about it. So please consider subscribing to support my work or sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Now, meanwhile, the Trump administration is becoming increasingly under fire. Over the past 24 hours, this morning I reported on a gala that Donald Trump hosted last night, the Gatsby-themed gala. Well, now it's being drawn comparisons to the Hunger Games, as individuals attending the gala were dressed up in these Gatsby costumes, these elaborate costumes. You had dancers, you had singers. It was this giant, beautiful in a lot of ways gala. And yet at the same time today, 42 million Americans across the country can't afford to eat because food assistance has run dry. SNAP benefits were not reloaded onto cards today, despite a judge saying that they must be because it takes time. It takes a week to 10 days before these SNAP benefits, the contingency funds, can be reloaded. And so while Americans are hungry, the president of the United States and his close allies are partying it up at a gala reminiscent of the Hunger Games. And yet, at the same time, he's also building this massive ballroom, which is $350 million worth at the White House. And today, a New York Times investigation shows that the ballroom donors, we have more information about who's actually donating to this ballroom. And none other than Jeffrey Ass, one of the biggest investors in TikTok, is at the top of the list who donated $2.5 million to the ballroom. Additional donors include Medicare companies who want the Trump administration to expand the number of products that are covered by Medicare. NVIDIA, which works with Donald Trump closely on chips, microchips, processing chips, and other companies as well. The CEO or head of OpenAI as well was a donor of $2.5 million. And here's the thing, there are other donors that are just simply anonymous. We don't have information about, yet they're donating massive amounts of money to the Trump administration in real time. And a lot of folks are saying, well, this is massive ethical concerns, right? These are pay for play type situations where if you want to get favors from the president of the United States, you just have to donate to his ballroom. And here's the thing, folks, it's not an explicit bribe because you're not making a donation in exchange for an official act. But if you make a donation and then you're then invited to the White House, then you get to meet with the president, and well, you guys become closer and closer and closer, it becomes more and more like a bribe, even if it isn't exactly a bribe. Today, ProPublica is reporting that the Trump administration is planning to rewrite Social Security disability rules, ending age-based advantages for workers over the age of 50 and tightening eligibility, a move that could disqualify up to 1.5 million, mostly blue-collar Americans from red states. So the Trump administration's rewriting of these disability rules are actively harming his own voters in red states across the country. Maryland Senate President Bill Ferguson is refusing to support a mid-decade redistricting effort in the state, despite mounting pressure from Governor Wes Moore, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and national Democrats. After King Charles stripped Andrew, formerly known as Prince Andrew, of his royal title, U.S. lawmakers renewed calls for him to testify about his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, citing newly released email exchanges between the two. Amid the ongoing government shutdowns, severe air traffic controller shortages have led to widespread flight delays across major U.S. airports, with nearly half of control facilities understaffed. Now, 90% of controllers in the New York area are not calling into work. Officials are warning that the situation is actively worsening as unpaid air traffic controllers face financial hardships. And finally, a new poll coming out of Alaska shows Alaska Congresswoman, former Alaska Congresswoman Mary Peltola, running neck and neck with Republican Senator Dan Sullivan in a hypothetical 2026 United States Senate matchup. Alaska can be in play for Democrats based on this new poll. And so we will see what happens next. We will see if Peltola decides to jump in this race. We do know that Chuck Schumer and Senate majority or Senate minority Democrats are actively encouraging her to do that. As always, if you want to support my work, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you this evening for another update, or potentially in the morning, depending on how things go. So thanks for your support. I'll see you soon with more news.